and welcome to a fabulous, fantastic new week. My name is Vida Echetabu, your anchor for The Signpost. Thank you for joining the conversation today, and I trust that you would engage with us on the comment section of all our handles, especially the YouTube channel. All right, so I'll start with this story. In my 39th year, I believe it was 39th, either 38th or 39th year, you know, just before I was going to hit 40 in the next year or two, I had a strong sense of dissatisfaction. I mean, all of a sudden, you know that thing that they tell you that life starts at 40 and all those type of things, and there's a checklist of all the things you're meant to have achieved by age 40. And I looked at my life and I didn't feel like I had ticked any of the significant milestones. Significant milestones because that's what society and environment and everybody has placed pressure on all of us. And I wasn't in depression in any way, but I was definitely dissatisfied, definitely sad, and it goes without saying, obviously ungrateful, because I had a lot of things going for me. Bad, at least I had a decent job and I wasn't living under a tree and I could afford to eat and I had good health. But I couldn't see any of those things because I was approaching this big 40. And uppermost on my mind that I felt should have at least been in my control, at least if I couldn't control the aspects of life partner, husband or children, surely I could have controlled owning a house. At least I felt I could have controlled that. And I was going about my daily job and I met a client. Till today, the client doesn't know the outcome or the impact of the conversation I had with him. But I strongly believe that that conversation was orchestrated by the Lord to tell me, Davida, breathe. And hopefully as I share it with you today, whatever pressures that between society and yourself you have placed upon yourself, you would exhale, you would breathe. So I can't remember if I met the client at his residence or if it was at his office. And he was my client, so trust me, he was a bona fide big boy by any standard. And so we got talking and all that, and in the course of the conversation, he told me that, Davida, I live in a rented house. And in my mind, I was like, rented, okay. You have the resources to live in your own houses. And he said it didn't make sense for him to buy a house at this time. One, he could do a few investments with the money and the returns he would get would take care of the rent. Okay, at least it's rich people that have that type of money in Abi that would do investment that the returns will take care of the rent. Anyway, so he went forward to explain to me the real reason why he had not purchased a house. He said, Davida, I have young children. I can't remember, but I think he has either 2 or 3 children, not certain. And he said that in the next 5 to 6 years, they would be in some form of schooling outside of the house. And once that happens, if he has to buy a house now, it has to be a house that would be a minimum of a 4-bedroom duplex in order to accommodate everybody. But he opted to rent that instead because he saw that in the future they would go to school either local or abroad. There'll be boarding school or there'll be university, and they're never ever really going to come and live in the house fully again. And it means that he will be stuck with a house, an asset that is too big for him and his wife. And that if for any reason any of the children maybe would need to school abroad, it meant that one of the parents would be abroad most of the time to sort of have a supervisory, role, some close contact with the children to make sure that everything was kosher. So it meant again the house would be even bigger, and maintaining a large house would cost more. There will be so many rooms and things that they would never ever need again. He also went ahead to say that as we grow older in life, now irrespective of whether you are keeping fit farm, drinking only water, chewing ugu, drinking pawpaw juice, and you're not eating cake and ice cream like the rest of us, that's fine. Irrespective of how fit and healthy you are, as you get older, you are older. So that big house would also to some degree become a HSE concern, because if he for any reason slipped or there was a concern, tracking or finding where he is in the house and all those type of things would come into play. I listened to him with rapt attention, hence obviously I am able to tell the story. After I finished that conversation, I went away breathing. I went away exhaling. He said one final thing to me and said, Davida, the day he's ready to buy the house and he has cash on hand, he can negotiate to get a house. Let's say the asking price is 50. Because he has cash on hand, he can actually negotiate and get it for 40. Because any investor would be glad to take a full payment down and all. Now, the reason I tell you this story is because in our society all over the world, there are pressures, there's rising cost of living, and people are wondering, how are they going to put the next plate of food on the table? How are they going to put fuel in the car? How are they going to pay school fees? How are they going to just cope? And a number of people are going to hit 40, and before they hit 40, the same pressures that hits me will hit them. They're going to wonder, what are the milestones? What are the tangibles that they have achieved in this life? Guess what? Breathe. Not everybody who lives in Ikoyi, who drives a G-Wagon or has a Rolls Royce is living in an owned house. You are on your own clock. Breathe. For what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? After we have acquired all these very many things, which are good to have, but if all those things are not able to preserve your life, are not able to guarantee you an eternity, as we saw and heard very many rich people pass on during COVID, their wealth and all that couldn't save them. Please don't get me wrong, it's important, and I like good things. It's important we live well. Jesus said, occupy till I come. So live well, but breathe. Know that all these things are only meant to add flavor to your life. They are not your life. And your real life starts on the other side of eternity. I invite you to Jesus today so that you will have a guaranteed life in eternity, which is, eternity is immeasurable. No matter how long we live, we can count the years on earth, but we can't count eternity. I hope that you go away feeling less pressure, more hopeful, and more determined that you'll breathe. Have a great week. Ciao.